Welcome back to Intables, everyone. So we have major news. We have Donetsk and Luhansk that is being invaded by Russia. Again, Russia mentioned a couple days ago that they no longer see Donetsk and Luhansk as part of Ukraine. Ukraine is very much feeling invaded. I don't know if they can do much about it, but they will either do something about it and cause Russia to possibly attack all of Ukraine, or we could possibly have a bounce back on them only invading Donetsk and Luhansk. Again, this is not positive news for the market, of course. No matter what the invasion is, there's always going to be a consequence in the market. But again, if we do not have again a tragic invasion where they invade the rest of Ukraine and they only take this part of Ukraine and Ukraine kind of lets them do it and nothing crazy comes of this, then we could see a better bounce back in the market. That could give us our possible double bottom, or our stronger double bottom, of course. That could give us a better bounce in the market. But to get that double bottom that we're looking for, we do want Russia to back off of Ukraine and to see better news coming out. Again, we do not have a full invasion yet, but again, Russia has Ukraine completely surrounded with 100% of their troops today. Again, yesterday was about 80%. The day before that was about 80%. And about a week ago was about 50%. So we're now at 100% capacity of Russia's troops surrounding around Ukraine. So we're going to keep an eye on this news, making sure Russia does not attack Ukraine. If Russia does not attack Ukraine, then we could see a possible bounce. As you guys can see here on the daily chart, on the S&P 500, we are testing our lows when we did have that fear leading into Jerome Powell speaking about possible increases in rate hikes. We have been mentioning our bear flag here that we are forming and a possible price target that we could be having here. If we do continue on down, again, extending our pull and putting it over to the side here would give us that bounce that we'd be looking for. Again, that 415 level is going to be very key because as you guys can see, we have plenty of consolidation at this point. We had a double bottom from this point and continued on up. As you guys can see, we also did have a pullback, which we did drop into lower lows with. So again, no panic here if Russia does not attack Ukraine, if we do drop into newer lows. But again, we do have a strong pullback here with a large increase in volume compared to the last time that we did pull back. So therefore, that could give us a stronger pullback, testing that 415 level. And then we have our next level here at 400. We have a lighter support that we mentioned here at 380 if we do continue on down below 400. And then our last support that we have here, in my opinion, would be at 360 for a stronger support. And if we do drop down below 360, we have our last level here at 340 from when we did have our pandemic. Now, Russia's market just dropped below pandemic levels today. So again, there's a lot of pressure to the downside because of what Russia's doing in Russia's economy. And there's a lot of sanctions that are being put on Russia. Now, one thing to consider is that China is not going to put sanctions against Russia, which means they could be leaning on supporting Russia, which could mean we may have more fear in the future if China does start to get more involved with attacks on Taiwan, like they had mentioned before. But we're going to stay focused here on Russia. As you guys can see, we had a pullback. Again, testing our previous bottom here, leading into Powell exactly at 420. So going into tomorrow, either we do have a double bottom here and we have a lot of sell pressure to the downside. And for some reason, Putin mentions that they're not going to attack and that we may have time to spare and there's no reason for them to attack now. And we get some time in between now and him attacking and we may have a bounce back and possibly even continue on down from then. But we could have this double bottom here if Russia does not attack Ukraine tomorrow. Again, the US mentioned yesterday that within 48 hours, that Russia could attack Ukraine. So that almost goes exactly with our timeline here. Either we have a large correction, we test our $400 level if Russia does attack Ukraine within the next 24 hours. Again, 48 hours yesterday, now 24 hours today. Looking to see if Russia does attack within the next 24 hours is what the US has us on watch for, and very much in timeline with testing our previous lows here at 420. Again, if we have one more day of a continuation on down, then we could be having that large emotion reaction to the downside, which would again be going according to our bear flag here. So again, if we do continue on down, we do have our price target here at 415. Now, if Russia attacks Ukraine at their fullest capacity, then we could see a major continuation on down here. We could be testing our 380 lighter support here, possibly bouncing off of it by then, or we could be testing our 360 level by then. Now, the first thing that would happen if Russia did attack Ukraine would be cyber attacks. So if we do get cyber attacks, we get news on major cyber attacks. We had some cyber attacks again this morning, but no major cyber attacks that would necessarily trigger that Russia is necessarily attacking now. But if we do get major cyber attacks, which we do mention the Instables room, any breakout that is worth looking at throughout the day, we do mention the Instables room. Again, if you do want to see all of our breakouts, go to instables.com in the description below. So again, with all of this fear, as you guys can see, we had somewhat of a pullback. It would be nice if Russia did back off of Ukraine, and we got to see the real pricing in of the market with these rate hikes to come. So we're going to keep an eye on all of this. But again, just wanted to make sure we stay updated on this news. Again, Putin has now full capacity to attack Ukraine, and the U.S. believes that Russia could be attacking within the next 48 hours yesterday, which means now 24 hours today. And Ukraine is now drafting from 18 years old to 60 years old, which it looks like Ukraine has changed their tone on what they have been feeling for the last few days. Ukraine has been more confident that Russia may or may not attack. Again, they weren't sure. but now we have Ukraine asking for more weapons from the UK and the United States. So again, keeping an eye on this is going to be very key for us, of course. We either have this double bottom here and we do have a bounce, and we will be testing our possible 445 level, which we do need to get back over 447.50 to have a continuation on up. We did get rejected just to the upside, leading into 447.50 previously. We had a lot of consolidation at this point. We have 445 that we want to get back over, but 447.50 would give us that continuation on up if we had that increase in volume. Now, one thing to consider is you guys can see we had this large pullback. We had a large amount of volume. As you guys can see, we are pulling back to those previous levels. We don't have as much sell volume here, which could give us a bounce here. So we're going to be looking for a possible bounce going into tomorrow if we don't get any bad news with Russia, or we could have a possible double bottom here just like we did previously and possibly continue on up here. But again, we do have a lot of pressure to the downside, and again, we do have our bear flag, which technically we would be testing our 415 level if we did continue on down below 420 here. So again, SPY will definitely stay on the watch. This $400 level is going to be key for another large reaction to the downside. Again, if we do drop down below our $400 psychological resistance, as you guys can see, last time we did get past 400, we had this large emotion reaction to the upside. So the same thing would happen here if we did get that increase in volume to the downside and we did drop down below 400. That is what we'd be looking for, to have that large correction to the downside if we did continue on down. But again, just making sure we do stay focused on these technicals. Again, if we do get a bounce, then we will have more intraday perspective breakouts. Or if we do continue on down, we will be looking for these levels to have a bounce to get more intraday perspective breakouts. So just staying focused on these technicals here. And I just want to encourage you guys, definitely keep Ukraine in prayers. It's a lot worse for them than it is for us, for sure. As much as it is about the market, it definitely is about their humanity, and I really feel bad for the situation, you know, so keeping them in prayers. And again, if you are new to the channel, definitely subscribe. I give you guys updates on the market or any stock that is worth looking at throughout the day. I mention every single day. And also, if you happen to be interested in intraday perspective breakouts within the same day, go to instables.com in the description below, and you'll never miss breakout alert today. Again, all of you instables that have been coming over and supporting the channel, all of you instables that have been coming over from the room and supporting the channel, I appreciate every one of you guys. We're going to continue to go at it again. The market is going to do what it's going to do. We'll be keeping an eye on this Russian news, but again, even with as bad as the market has been, we had nice breakouts throughout the day. And again, if you guys do like this video, it does help others find it, and it does help the channel grow, and I do appreciate it very much. And again, God bless you all, and I'll see you guys in pre-market.